and torrential rains that threaten the safety of millions. The cyclone, which has already claimed lives in neighboring Mozambique, in Pemba and Cabo Delgado, comes with devastating effects. As the cyclone's fury intensifies, our thoughts are with those in its path. But the most important question for now is what areas are going to be affected? We are joined right now by the Met Department Chief Forecaster, James Ngoma, to give us the latest. James, good evening. Which areas will be affected by Cyclone Chido in the next 24 hours and what will be the impact?
Thank you very much for that question. Looking at the tropical cyclone, it made landfall over Mozambique. That was yesterday at around 16:15 a.m. That was in the morning hours of Sunday. And as the system moved on to the northern parts of Mozambique near Pemba, it deposited most of its rainfall there and then drifted westwards towards Balama, still in the northern parts of Mozambique. And as it drifted, it was losing most of its energy. That's the spinning wind force. When the cyclones are spinning, that's when they gain a lot of energy over water. But when they fall on land, they start to have that frictional force, and this frictional force then forces them to reduce in terms of speed and reduce as well in terms of rainfall, because we know that land has no source of water, and as they move across land, they'll be losing most of their water in the form of rainfall. So the system has been losing rainfall as of yesterday 6 a.m. up to the current time. It's currently over the southern parts of Malawi near Zomba and Balaka. That is about 75 kilometers from Blantyre, and that makes it about 503 kilometers from Harare. And with its clouds band still in Malawi, it had its clouds band stretching as far field as Mashonaland East and Manicaland. This gave us light rain showers over these provinces as of this morning, and we had a bit of windy conditions in some places, but not very violent, as these wind speeds have reduced from the 200 kilometers that it was spinning at whilst in the ocean to about less than 65 kilometers that is now spinning at whilst it's in Malawi.
So now, James, what has changed from the initial projections?
So there's been a lot of changes in the last week in terms of its projection. The earlier projection had projected that it was going to move along the coast of Mozambique and enter in through Beira. That would have been very destructive for Zimbabwe, as we have noted that when a cyclone enters in from the ocean and straight into Zimbabwe, we know that Beira is our shortest distance. That's where we have our Beira corridor. That's the shortest distance between Zimbabwe and the Indian Ocean. If it had entered through there, would have had devastating effects of the strong 200-kilometer strong winds over much of the eastern highlands, and that would have been almost similar to tropical cyclone Idai, which affected us in 2019. But currently it entered in through the northern parts of Mozambique and was projected to enter Malawi into Zambia, but has slightly taken a detour into the southern parts of Malawi, and hence it's also affecting Mashonaland East and Manicaland, where we're getting a few showers. So these cyclones tend to change as they develop, and because of the spin and the frictional forces on land, they tend to disrupt it. The first disruption came in when it struck Madagascar. That's when the trajectory turned into a northward direction. And again, when it reached the Comoros Island, it also changed trajectory. And once again, when it made landfall over Mozambique.